What's up, my peoples? Good morning to you all. I'm going to screen share one time and we're bubbling into what we want to talk about today. As you can see, the topic is about Batman and Wonder Woman, why they didn't keep their secret identities and just go to the rest of the league as superheroes. I heard some people talk about how, you know, in BVS and as well as in Justice League, the superheroes all know each other, and Lex Luthor knows everybody, and everybody knows everybody. And that was a critique. And so I decided to do this meme, which would be able to explain that. It's really quite simple. And I think the director of the movie and so on, they have always put an emphasis on certain aspects of the characters. Now, if you look at the CW, you hear Superman talk to Supergirl and call her Supergirl, and she calls him Superman and stuff like that, right? And I'll get more into that in a minute, but first, Psalms 119 verses 65, 66, 67, and 68 says, "You have dealt well with your servant, O Lord, according to your word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed your commands. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I've kept your word. You're good, and you do good. You teach me your statutes." Why this? Well, you can see, first of all, the person speaking is speaking from a master servant uh, context. He's saying, "You treat me well as a servant. You always, whatever you tell me you're going to do, you do it." And then he goes on to say, uh, "Let me learn how to do it like that. I believe in your word. Whatever you tell me to do or whatever you tell anyone to do, I really trust it because you're a person of your word." And then he goes on to say, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I keep your word. You're good and you do good. So teach me that way." Statute is a way or symbolic way of doing things. And all of us are growing as people. All of us are learning about life. All of us are learning what goodness is. And I hope that as people do good to you, that you would do good to others, but more so that you would be an embodiment of goodness. And as we're going through this journey, we will learn through the examples set to us and things that we desire to copy and be a part of to be fully good. But it is a process. So I just wish that for you guys today. So if you want to put any discussion comments in the chat section is right there on the side of the screen. Right now you'll be seeing the screen, but you'll also be seeing the chat section. It's just begun to rain where I live in the Caribbean. So I haven't gone out to work yet, and the rain's really coming down. Hopefully it'll ease up so I can go to work. But in this little break period, I want to share with you guys why Bruce Wayne and Diana, they don't come to the league as the superheroes that they are and the persona that is seen by the world. No, they come to them in an intimate way. And they come as Bruce and Diana. They come as people. They come as people who have flaws. So one of the things about a superhero is that a superhero is seen as someone who's flawless. And if you look at the way how God is to us, even what I just read there, how God is to us, how he comes to us, he comes to us in a format that's familiar to us. That's the whole reason why Jesus died as a human being and came to earth as a human being, so it can be more relatable. And it's very interesting as I go through this meme that Alfred basically gets to the crux of it and he's able to summarize it best. So why did Bruce Wayne and Diana Prince reveal who they were to the other league members, but did not come to them as the superheroes that they were known as? The answer begins with Alfred talking to Bruce in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. And if you look on the right here, this is Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. In Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Alfred says to Bruce Wayne after he tracked the calls from the Russian's phone to Alexander Luthor's residence, "The Bat interrogated 6 people and came away with nothing. It was Bruce Wayne that got that information. And it's interesting that he says it that way, because Bruce Wayne, if you've watched the clip with when they were dealing with the underground illegal fight that was going on, Bruce Wayne got in a conversation with the Russian, right, Kanayev. And it's in that conversation he was able to track his phone. And so relational, you will learn that relationships and building relationships with people is the most effective way to actually do whatever you want to do with them. So the more you build a relationship with people is the more there's some connection, some link, and whatever it is you want to do, you become more effective doing it. And Alfred basically hits the nail on the head in how we become effective in communities. It's not by people seeing us for the personas that we're portrayed as. Sometimes we're portrayed as this evil persona. Sometimes we're portrayed as this great grand persona, which is just much more grand than we really are. And it's the same with God. God doesn't want to be portrayed as this huge majestical figure out there. No, God wants to be intimate with us. He wants to get personal with us. And so it's more about a relationship. And if you notice, therefore, Bruce took that advice from Alfred from thenceforth, and he actually applied that in Justice League. So Bruce, he goes to Arthur Curry as Bruce Wayne. He does not go to Arthur Curry as Batman. That's why, if you ask yourself, why didn't he show up as Batman? Well, here's why. So Bruce, initially, he fails to get Arthur to join the team, but he does succeed when Arthur sees what he's telling him threaten his home, and that's Steppenwolf. Right? You know, Bruce was telling him, man, this thing that's coming, man, it could affect the oceans. Arthur didn't listen. He went off on his way. But he came right back to them and the League, even though he came in costume and Batman was in costume at the time. He came back to the League because the thing that Batman said, the threat that was coming, that they needed to fight against, it came to his home world of Atlantis. Now, here's the other funny thing. When Bruce Wayne, reveals that he's Batman to Arthur Curry mocks the idea of Batman. So that Alfred would have been 100% correct that Batman would have been absolutely ineffective in trying to get Arthur Curry to come and join the team. In fact, when Arthur Curry saw Batman for the first time, he actually laughed at it. He jested at it. He actually laughed at it. As you can see here, he's laughing at Batman, watching him. This guy's dressed like a bat. He's crazy, right? And he's like, I dig it. Okay, so again, Alfred's correct. Only Bruce Wayne could have gotten Arthur Curry to commit to the team. And eventually he was effective in doing so. And even though Arthur Curry came as Aquaman and he met Batman, he knew that was Bruce Wayne. It was really Bruce Wayne who got the information to Aquaman, right? Which is what Alfred has set up here. And you'll see this motif over and over again. With Bruce and Diana, they knew each other as Bruce and Diana before, but even so, even though they knew each other as Bruce and Diana from BVS, they talked to each other as Bruce and Diana instead of superheroes. And then they divided the recruits between them. And again, Alfred is correct. The more meaningful relationships we see with these superheroes are done as the people that they are. And that's the thing that's important to understand. You know, the thing I like about DC is they treat their superheroes not as these mystical, fantastical characters, which, you know, everybody likes and enjoys at a superficial level. No, they deal with them as individuals, as people interacting with each other. So it's really funny when I hear people say that, you know, these superhero characters like Superman and so on that we see in the DCE are not relatable. It's to me, it's the dumbest thing in the world, because to me, these are relatable characters. Because it's Bruce Wayne we're dealing with, it's Diana we're dealing with, and her life. The CW, again, they try to deal with, you know, Kara Zor-El or Kara Danvers and her life as whatever she is in the city, but they still play up the Supergirl part. They play up the Supergirl, and she even refers to herself as Supergirl a lot instead of just Kara Danvers or Kara Zor-El or just Kara. And it's interesting when Superman is discussing with her in the CW, she calls him Superman and he calls her Supergirl. He doesn't call her Kara, and he calls her, and she calls him Cal. And it's very interesting. Or Clark and Kara, whatever. But the point is, in these movies, it's different. The DCU, they deal with the people as individuals. And by dealing with people as individuals, as people, not necessarily human beings, but people, you get this deeper appreciation of the characters. So that's why they say the characters were the strongest part of Justice League. It was because they literally did, very cleverly did something where they went beyond the superhero status to these individuals, these characters, and how they interplayed with one another. Barry Allen, Victor Stone, Arthur Curry, Diana, Bruce Wayne. Okay, that's how they did it, and that's what made them seem human, even though they're not human. Diana's not human. Clark wasn't human. You know, Arthur's half human. Cyborg's half machine. You know, and I just find that very interesting. And Barry's got these supernatural skills. When Bruce goes now to recruit Barry, he recruits him not as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne. In fact, whenever he shows that he's Batman, it actually distracts Barry. Even though Barry recruits because he's Batman, it distracts Barry from what Bruce is actually saying. So when Bruce is trying to tell him about enemies are coming and stuff, Barry just stops him, and Barry's like, I'm in. And then he wants to keep the insignia, and everything Barry does from there on in is more about Batman worship than Bruce. And it's pretty funny that throughout the movie, Barry is always getting caught up in the Batman stuff. But it's interesting that Bruce speaks to Barry about certain things. He's getting Barry up to speed finally. Of course, Barry always gets distracted by anything that has to do with Batman. So here is Bruce talking to Diana. They're talking to Barry. But as soon as Barry sees the bat signal, he's like, oh, the bat signal. I think that means we need to... I think that means we need to go now. You know, Barry is distracted by anything Batman. So I would say this, that it's actually Bruce Wayne that gets the deeper impact on things that he wants to do with Barry. And once Bruce Wayne doesn't bring anything with Batman up, Barry doesn't get distracted. Even though I will give you that Bruce was able to talk to Barry as Batman and get him to focus at a very critical moment where Barry was freaking out when Steppenwolf was present. But by and large, even when you listen to Barry say, well, what your superpowers are, you know, Barry's all enthusiastic. Batman must have some superpowers. This is great Batman, right? And all Bruce can tell him is he's rich, right? Which is pretty funny. And the point about it is that Bruce Wayne, though he's a little bit annoyed with Barry and stuff, and Barry's belting out his guts to Bruce, you can see that it's really Bruce and Barry. And these are the important things to understand. It's not Batman and the Flash. It's Bruce and Barry. And that's a paradigm shift. You know, if you look at all the other comic book movies and even the actual animated movies with, you know, Batman and Superman and the Justice League and stuff, they've always addressed each other by their superhero names. But here in the DCEU, and of course, in whatever the universe, they generally address each other as by their stuff, except if you look at X-Men, where they dealt with Logan as Logan, Professor Xavier as Professor Xavier, even Jean Grey and stuff. But for the most part, and again, these stories have depth because of the actual characters that are involved. But to go even deeper into the characters and actually have these characters, the thing with the X-Men were they all had superpowers. So they were kind of like outside of the world and they isolated in this little place. But here we see actual people living amongst other people in the DCEU. And to me, that was what gives the characters some depth. So it's not surprising that Diana goes and speaks to Victor Stone. It's not Wonder Woman going to speak to Cyborg. You understand what I'm saying? And by showing her vulnerabilities and her issues that she's dealing with, which are common to Cyborg, she's able to connect with Cyborg, and he ends up joining the team. And again, it's not Wonder Woman and it's not Cyborg. It's a Victor. Victor has a name. And while Victor wanted to say he was dead, Diana would not allow that. And she was able to encourage him and eventually able to live up to his potential as the movie went along. Okay. Again, Alfred is correct in saying that this is not about superheroes. They're probably pretty much ineffective there. It's about the people. And the people, there's the mythos of the superhero. They can do no wrong. They're great, blah, 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 blah. And so you wouldn't want to go to somebody as a superhero. You're not relatable. What's relatable? You're relatable as a person. And that's where they got it. And that's where the DCU got it. And then this is the last part. And this last part is pretty interesting in that when Bruce finally meets Clark, he calls out to him as Clark. When he meets Superman, Superman is now reborn and revived. He speaks to him as Clark. Now notice Diana speaks to Clark as Kal-El. Bruce doesn't address him as Kal-El. Bruce is familiar with Clark. Bruce in BVS, he got to know Clark, and he realized it was Clark that was this Superman that he thought was an alien and everything. And so it's very interesting that he addressed Kal-El not by his Kryptonian name, but his Earth name, Clark. And it's interesting as Clark turns around and sees Batman, but he says, "I know you," and he knows it's Bruce because later on, when he's settled down and he's not really in a killing mode, as he's talking to Lewis, he says, "Bruce, I guess I owe him one." He knows what he did to him and also what Bruce did for him to wake him up. So this again confirms Alfred's statement to be true that the effectiveness of the relationship between Supes and Batman is really in Clark and Bruce. And we see that at the end of the movie where Clark is talking about buying the bank so that he could get back to the home. And it's Clark and Bruce who are with each other, talking with each other as friends. And Bruce actually he kind of embraces Clark as they're moving off, and he talks, he's trying to explain why he doesn't know why he does those kinds of things with his money. So at the end of the day, Bruce and Clark. Now, remember, Clark is an alien now. But you feel like it's a bond between two guys, two persons. And I find that so cool. And Clark could just squash Bruce like a twig. I mean, Clark is very, very strong. And yet Bruce is embracing Clark, and you see him walking off, and he's like, "That's so cool. That's so cool." In spite of all the superpowers, in spite of all of that stuff, all that super in Superman, he's really just deep down underneath Clark, a country boy from Smallville. I find that so cool how the DC is able to make these seemingly unrelatable, very grand figures relatable. So what do you got to say? Leave your comments in the comment section. Those of you who are on vacation or on work or whatever, it's cool. Let me hear what you guys got to say about this, because I just wanted to put this as a streaming video. This is in real time. I didn't make this. I didn't edit it or anything. This is in real time to you guys. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this? I just like to share these kinds of videos with you guys. I think they're meaningful stuff. All right. So chat up a storm. I got to go, though. It's 2:14. I got to get out of here by 2:30. So we're going to try to keep this real brief. Okay, folks? All right. Wow. Some new people. Zach Sakamoto. Yo, Zach Sakamoto. Will you be interacting with your subscribers here? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. No problem. R2 Lemonade. Hey, Gustav Ramier. Hello. Hey, man. It's good to meet you guys. R2 Lemonade. Going to Iceland to meet Arthur as a masked man would have also given away unwanted attention. So going as a man gave Bruce the neutral welcome everyone would have gotten. Exactly, because he would have attracted attention as Batman. Exactly. In this unknown place, this unknown territory he has not scouted out. It makes absolute sense, right? Absolutely. I agree with you 100% there, R2. Gustav Ramirez, shout out to you. Zach Sakamoto, where are you guys from? Where are you guys from, Gustav and Zach? Nice to meet you guys. I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys because I've heard complaints. The DCU gets so much hate. It's not funny, man. But I've heard complaints from people talking about, man, these superheroes, they shouldn't have revealed themselves to other people. And then why is Batman going there as Bruce Wayne? He should go on a Batman. And it's just like, because he reveals himself as Batman anyway and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, you want the person. You want sort of personality. You want a connection. And I'm just showing you from BVS that set the tone. Alfred set the tone. And Alfred is 9 out of 10 times correct, right? And again, the significance of Alfred in these movies, I never really talked about it. But Alfred from BVS to Justice League has been an integral part and compass in how Batman actually moves and adjusts himself as he's going through things. And if you notice, the difference, even in both BVS and in Justice League, We've seen a lot of Bruce Wayne, right? And what's the momentum shift from BVS to Justice League is in you see more of humanity. The focus in Justice League is on humanity. The focus, this is going to be very interesting, but you guys check it out and see for yourself. The focus in BVS is focused on the alien or the outsider. So if you look at Man of Steel to Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, we're really addressing the outsider. We look at the outsider's view of the world, and then we look at the world's view of the outsider. So Man of Steel was the outsider's view of the world, and we got to empathize with Superman. For the first time, we realized how much of an alien he was, how he had to adjust to mankind, adapt to mankind, adjust to the world he was in, right? In BVS, we see the world's response to finding out there is an alien among us. There are aliens walking among us. And now we see how they treat that outsider, including Batman. Now, Justice League deals with humanity itself. That's the cool thing about Justice League. It's about people. And so Bruce Wayne, now having that humanity inside of him, is able to acknowledge the humanity in others. And it's very interesting hearing him say in Justice League, he's more human than I am, because Justice League literally brings out the humanity in the film. It's crazy. And to see Bruce embracing Clark at the end of the movie, that brings a closure on his interaction, how he saw Clark before. Do you guys remember this? When Bruce Wayne first met Clark Kent, it was at Lex Luthor's residence. The next time we see Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent together, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent together, they're at the Kent farm, and Bruce Wayne is helping to build back the farm. This is very important for you guys to understand. I tell you these things not in a vacuum. The first time Clark Kent, think about it now, the first time Clark Kent met Bruce Wayne was at Lex Luthor's residence. In other words, we're in the house of Lex Luthor. We're in the mindset of Lex Luthor. That is to say, Bruce's mind is under the influence of Lex Luthor. We know that Lex Luthor is playing him. The next time we see Bruce Wayne with Clark Kent, think about what I'm saying now, together, is on the Kent farm. What do we know about the Kent farm? The Kent farm was the house of Kent, which fostered the Superman we have today. All of his ideals, all of his values come from the Kent farm, right? That says Bruce has moved 180 degrees from the house of Lex to the Kent farm. See the symbolism? It's a lot of things going on in this movie. All right, so where you are, they say where you lay your tent or where you lay your camp, that's where your mind is at. He was once with the mind of Lex Luthor, that Superman was the greatest threat to the world. Nimish, PK, good show there, buddy. Yeah, man, shout out to you guys, man. Peace to you guys, man. So that at one time, you understand, his mindset was a mindset of, this is an outsider, this is an alien, this is a threat. We must destroy him and destroy everything he represents. He had the same mindset as Lex Luthor. Now, when we see him at the end of Justice League, he has the same mindset as Clark Kent. But not just Clark Kent, Jonathan Kent, Martha Kent. He has now the mindset of the House of Kent. What does the House of Kent preach? It preaches, whatever man you are, good or bad, you will change the world. The Kents believe in middle American values. In BVS we learn that Clark Kent said poor people don't buy papers. Don't poor people need justice? What is Superman all about? Hope. Where did he get this hope from? Yes, his father showed him the symbol of hope and what the House of L represents. But if you know the truth about the situation, he was taught about hope through Jonathan and Martha Kent firsthand. I will explain. When Superman was going through his difficulties in his teen years. He was going through the difficulties of adjusting his senses. His mother gave him the hope of being able to adjust it. He was exasperated, and his mother helped him to focus in and gave him hope that he could use these things. When Clark was feeling very he's feeling very hopeless because he constantly was helping people like his father. We saw where he got that helpful spirit from, to help other people. Jonathan Kent is a self-sacrificing kind of guy, and he will help other people. So his parents set the example for him to follow. They had to shelter him from other kids so that he wouldn't hurt other children, he wouldn't damage them. So he was sheltered. But at the same time, he was a very helpful, kind of guy. That came from his parents. And then the hopefulness that Kent had and his father fostered in him, and his mother, overprotected mother, fostered in him, was the hope that he would change the world. And when his mother saw it, she said to him, when he was talking about, I wish that Pa could have seen this, she said he saw it, right? He saw those values in you when you were a kid. And these are kinds of movies that, to me, can shape a society and can help a society. That's what I'm talking about, because we are here to have changes in our communities. And if you're responding to this video, it's because you're responding to the fact that there's something in these videos that can help to lighten someone's day and change it in a meaningful way. So that's what I see in these movies. So when we talk about the House of Kent, we're talking about a house where you can do the impossible, that you do have an impact and influence, that a stranger you will welcome into your gates. You know, Black Panther did that too, with the welcoming the stranger into the gates. The irony of the situation is the very person who we considered the adversary of T'Challa at one time, challenging him, became the sanctuary of T'Challa, not only him, but his family, teaching us that refugee status means you must have a good relationship with your neighbors. It's a very good message. And very similarly, I would say that you never know where you end up and whose hand you'll be in, right? But even to a greater extent, now we see that Bruce Wayne moves across from the camp of Lex Luthor to the camp of the Kents, a genuine camp where he's hugging up. He never hugged up Lex Luthor. He shook his hand, right? But he hugged up and he embraced Clark Kent. He did not embrace Kal-El. He embraced the human, the human raised, the culture, the person who was raised in the human culture, the middle American kid, the guy from the countryside, the simplest, the seemingly simplistic idealistic kid. That's who he embraced. That's who he learned to value, like Louis Lane did, right? Like his mother realized he was precious. Okay, so and I love that. Man, I tell you, man, I love Man of Steel. How many of you other guys are here, man? If you guys want to leave any more things in the chat section, I got 5 more minutes. It's nice to see you guys. I'm going to try and keep a stream going every day. It won't be this late, though. If anything, it might be late in the night or early in the morning. It's nice. If you guys want to donate to this channel, remember you can donate to this channel via Western Union or MoneyGram. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I always try to give something of substance, not just something that's intriguing. Oh, I got one more thing for you guys. Let me just go to it. If you got any other comments, leave it in the comment section, man. Let me show you guys something else. I forgot to show you this. So let me show you it. This is just a curiosity now. This is just more like a fan thing, okay? It's just a little like a fan Easter egg kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? But in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, if you're paying attention to the football match between Gotham and Metropolis, you may have noticed the 52 in the corner. There's, of course, Richard Nixon here. That's a shout out to Watchmen. But you also, because Richard Nixon was the president of the world at the time in Watchmen. But here you got this 52 jersey here. And what's cool that I identified, you know, the eagle-eye fans out there, I was able to identify with them that there's the 52 sign again on the truck of the family, the Russian family, as they were fleeing away, you know, from the Gupti God stuff, which I know had to do. Whedon did that Gupti God style. Somebody changed it. It was going to be kind of, I believe it was going to look more like what we saw in the beginning with the first Great War. I think that was what it was more going to look like. It's all good though. I'm waiting for the Zack Snyder cut to see a really good representation of that. You know, there's certain things that we know were reshot and or redone and kind of took away from the film, and it's okay. It's all right. It's cool. You know, it is what it is. It already is gone by, but make sure we got to press for that Zack Snyder cut, folks. We got to push for that release the Snyder cut. We got to push for that because I want to see the Zack Snyder cut. I'm serious about that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I thought this was a really cool little shout out. There's other things up in there though. I didn't really point it out, but there's also this 99 here. I don't know the significance of it though. 699, right? And there's actually a guy with a jersey with number 99 on it. Number 99 is right here, but I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yep. Yeah, we might be able to see it. Oh no, that's number 88. I saw a 99 something. Oh yeah, there it is. Number 99 here. So there's a number 99. I don't know the significance of it though. I don't know the significance of this 99 with this 99. I don't understand why that's there, but it's there. Maybe some of you guys can figure out the significance of that. I know I don't think it's arbitrary. Lex Luthor never, not Lex Luthor, but Zack Snyder never does nothing arbitrary, right? So Richard Nixon was shout out to Watchmen. You see the 52 on this side too, pointing out the new 52. I thought that was pretty cool. And you see this is USSR. So this is Russia, USSR. Oh, snap. Hey, you guys check out Superman Red Sun. Maybe this has something to do with Superman Red Sun. $6.99. I don't know, man. These guys are so crafty, man. USSR. See, it's Russia. 52. I like it. I like it. It's tricky, man. I just saw that. Oh, man. US. And there's a flag here. There's a 6. And there's another 6 here. I don't know what's going on there, folks. Somebody with an eagle eye. You guys going to figure that out because I really don't know what that is. But I know there's all these little subtle messages in these movies, man. So we'll see if you guys can figure it out. I don't know what the 99 is about either. All right. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right. If there's no other comments out here, I'm going to get out of here. I really enjoyed spending some time with you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. And remember that I'm always ready to join the discussion when I get a chance. All right, man. Well, that'll be cool. I got to go, though. I got 1 minute before 2:30. Kids going to be leaving school. I got to go do some selling and stuff. You guys have a great one. R2 Limited, Nimish PK. Who else we got here? Gustav Ramirez. Shout out to you guys, man. Zach Sakamoto. Hey, man, anytime you want to talk, we will talk. Once I got my streaming going, we can have some conversations. Also, one more thing. What's it? Oh, yeah. If you want to join the Hangout, I might put the Hangout link in there, but it'll be a brief moment. I know a lot of you guys are on vacation as well, so that's why you have the time. R2 Limited, man, I got to go, man, bro. Otherwise, I'll be talking with you. I want a whole bunch of you guys on here. I don't want to be talking at all. You guys can just talk up a storm on all kinds of stuff. We're gonna get some hot material very soon. I know that some stuff for Aquaman is gonna come out in Comic-Con. That'll light up the joint a little bit, and hopefully some more Shazam on the horizon. That would be cool too, as well as some upcoming DCEU movies and stuff that might be coming up. So we can look forward to that. I want to talk more about the DCEU, but I'm going to come out with a special segment on Black Panther as well. I think that movie is worth the while to talk about. And I got a couple more things on Star Wars: The Last Jedi to talk about. I really haven't flushed out those two movies really well with you guys yet. And if you guys can pick up the DVDs and stuff on all of those stuff, that's cool. Don't forget, hashtag release the Snyder Cut. A lot of you guys need to still support that. We want to see that thing come out either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. We need a Snyder Cut, man. And Warner Brothers needs to bring out that Snyder Cut. I want to see it. Oh, yeah. So that's what I got to say for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Don't get fooled by how I appear on the screen. It's just me chilling, relaxing. There's a bunch of clothes in the background there. I don't really give a fly right now. That's my bed in the background. I'm just relaxing a little bit before I go out and work. You guys have a great one. Yeah.